So this is a shooting video with my Armex 105-pound recurve crossbow. It was originally a 150-pound draw weight crossbow, but I put the lighter prod in it. So here's just some footage of me shooting it in the garden. I started off using it from about 5 yards away, because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't shooting drastically high or to the sides, because obviously a crossbow has a lot of power to it, even a 105-pound crossbow. And then a bit further in the video I'll move the target a bit further back. If you're interested, this is a GSV backyard archer target, which is a good little lightweight target you can move around easily. If you're using higher power crossbows though, it wouldn't be suitable. This is only really suitable I think to about 150-pound draw weight recurves, because obviously it's designed to be light and portable, not to be a really sturdy thick foam target, but it's very good for this sort of thing. And I do like that one of the sides has a sort of bullseye on it, so I'm able just to use the actual target or the stop as both the target and the stop at the same time. So now I'm shooting at the same distance, but just with the camera behind the target. Obviously I knew where it was shooting, so there's no risk of damaging the camera. What I tend to do with these bolts before I take each shot is just double check that the head of the bolt's still tight on, because sometimes they can come loose after shooting and pulling them out of a target. And obviously, if you have a loose head, that could mean the head gets lost, or it could affect the flight of the bolt. This is just quite simple. The only issue is where I had a back injury about a year ago. That means that once I was getting a bit further into this video, I was finding it was getting a bit painful on my back loading the crossbow each time, even though it was only 105 pounds. I've got an old BSA air rifle scope on this crossbow that's about 4x zoom. It's not a really high-end scope, but it doesn't get damaged by crossbow recoil because it's suitable for air guns. So that means obviously it's quite good just for what I'm doing here. I was quite pleased with the group I managed to get here. 2 of the bolts were in the bullseye and 1 was just above it, so obviously I'm not going to do that well further into the video now. So now I've moved the target back to about 10 yards from where I'm shooting to see if I can still get a decent group. But as the range goes across of this crossbow, I struggle a lot more to actually keep the groups together. What's not too brilliant is the eye relief on this scope and the depth of field. So I find quite often with this scope, crosshair seems to move around a lot when I'm looking for it, which really isn't good for precise shooting. It's good enough for what I use in the garden, but this scope definitely wouldn't be suitable for very long range shooting. It's why my Nico Sterling I've now got on my air rifle is a much better scope in terms of actually, parallax and everything else, so you actually, know what you're shooting at, and it's all the crosshair's always in the same place every time. as all the previous shots went left, I thought it would be a good idea to just do a resting shot from the bench to see how accurate I could actually get the crossbow to go, and it went exactly where I was aiming it this time. So I think a lot of it is down to human error where I'm shooting it, but there is also a bit of left-right variation with crossbows if you don't pull the string totally even when you cock the bow. So if you pull too much of your left or right arm while cocking the crossbow, the actual arrow will shoot slightly to the left or right depending on how much the string was misaligned when you loaded the bow.